I get to introduce a great speaker today. I don't know if you know of Ken Wheeler, but I'll give you a little bit of little inside baseball on him. First time I ever met him, he slapped me, and it hurt a lot. Like he leaned in. It was like palm and body, and it was terrible. He's also really good at programming. I don't know if you know this, and most of all, he made the beat to our music video, so he's very, very good at music too. Please come on stage, Ken Wheeler.
My guy. Yo, 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 yo. It's kind of a long walk. All right. Cool. Is that a 3D printed ocarina in my pocket, or am I just happy to see you guys? It's a 3D printed ocarina. Does anyone want this? Okay. You might have beat him to it. Yeah, I mean, we'll get it after. I'm sitting there. It's like in my bag. I'm like, what is this even doing in my bag? But might as well. Yeah, so I'm Ken, and I'm really happy to be in Montana. This is lovely country. Really good time. Really, really good refreshments last night, I tell you what. Really good refreshments right there, too. Like, who does a whiskey podcast before giving a talk? Me, that too. So yeah, clearly I'm a big fan of slug and brews, making beats, messing around with hardware, and screwing around in the woods. Yes, New Jersey Italians like to screw around in the woods. You got to be like at least 35 to get that reference. So another thing that I like is gardening. I'm a big fan of gardening. Not in like a weird, like cutting flowers kind of way, but like a growing my own food kind of way. Not that like cutting your flowers is weird if you guys do that. It's just not my shit, but I'm just saying. I like to outdoor garden, but I also like to indoor garden. I have this thing, and this thing is called a garden with a Y. It was a really clever name that they gave it. But it's a hydroponic tower that's in your house. It's a smart hydroponic tower. So all winter long, and in New Jersey it gets pretty wintry. I imagine it gets pretty wintry here. You know, everything's dead. There's no leaves on the trees, and that makes me sad. Like, I think like at least like 63% of my happiness is derived from leaves on trees. I see leaves on the trees, and I'm like, hell yeah. It's like, hell yeah, dude. So in the winter, right, you have this little like extremely bright portion of your house that costs a shit ton on your electric bill. And it just makes you happy because you have stuff growing there. Additionally, I'm a cook. I like to cook a lot. And there is nothing quite like just ripping something off of there and bow, right? The other day I made this roast beef sandwich. Went in there, got some lettuce. I was like, bow. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. It's the best thing in the entire world. But the thing basically manages itself, right? So you have this app, and it has cameras on it, and it like schedules the waterings and everything. So I can sit here and I can come to Montana and drink with my friends, and I don't have to worry about it because it gets watered. I get alerts, all this stuff. I also do outdoor gardening. So I like to grow shit outdoors. I have a couple these like planter boxes, a couple freestanders, and I just put in some raised beds. We do zucchini, tomatoes, everything you need to like make a pizza, all kinds of things. It's really, really good. But there's a problem, and that is that I do a lot of work travel. Probably like a week a month. So in the summer months, when this is going down, no one will look after it for me. No one can remember, and you end up with dead plants. And that's sad. Nobody likes that. This looks like the beginning of winter, or no, it looks like fall. Or no, it looks like any season change in Stardew Valley, really. But you know, like the beginning, you're like, God damn it. That's this, right? So not only can you just do things, you can just make a managed outdoor garden, right? I identified this as a problem that was worth solving. But first, I want to give a little context about a lot of my more recent endeavors and things that I'm excited about that kind of led to this, right? So these are the biggest pieces of shit on the fucking face of the planet. I hate these animals so much. It's unreal. So I have this thing. I had like this like sweet bird feeder, right? And it was like this AI bird feeder where like all throughout the day you get a text, you get a push. I call it a bird alert. You get a little notification on your phone, and it's like hummingbird showed up, and you look, and the hummingbird's like, and you're like, oh hell yeah, dude! Different, like a bird that you haven't seen before. Like you're changing seasons. You're like, dude, hell yeah, dude. cardinal in the house, right? And dude, these animals came and ripped the roof off of it. So I was like, God damn it. And I said that I was talking to Carson. I was like, you know what, man, I should do like AI and bird thing for this. So I start looking around, and I get this little Wise camera, one of these things, and you can get like a RTSP feed off of that thing, and it's cool. You set it to OpenAI, it does a good job. That's spicy bird seed. It means the squirrels aren't supposed to have it, right? They try it, and it's supposed to be too hot for them, but wouldn't you know it, they go ahead and destroy the bird feeder anyway. So I have this Wise camera and a destroyed 3D printed bird feeder, which looks totally sweet, might I add. And I decide I'm gonna look at my garden with it. And as you can see, this is like deep principled engineering of a fucking backwards shovel on a wheelbarrow with this thing like on there. Yeah, so I rigged that up pretty tight, dude. It actually stayed like that for like 2 weeks. Like really good. And then the landscapers came and like kicked it over. They thought it was dumb. I'm like, okay, guys, whatever. But like what I wanted to do was, I didn't have like wood or anything like that, but I was like, yeah, maybe I can get that same kind of like, we could pass to OpenAI, but like, how's everything looking, right? Like, you probably have a better idea than I do. How's the zucchini doing? So you do Vision AI, right? So I go and I get the RTSP stream, and every single day, take a picture of the garden. That's the picture I'm down below here. I have these super cool log messages like OpenAI and AI analysis completed successfully. And then it sends me, there's a plant health report, right? So every single morning I read the digest. I'm like, that's not good. I gotta put some nitrogen in here or something. Some of it's actionable or whatever, but it's not really the root problem because, like, again, I'm not really thinking about, at this point in time, making the managed garden. I'm just like, I got this Wise camera and squirrels are ruining my life, so what can I do with this thing? I'm still pretty into Vision AI. So I posted doing this, and somebody put me in contact with these guys, Roboflow. Can I see a show of hands who knows about this? Oh, it's so dope. It's so dope. So I took a whole platform for Vision AI, and I'm actually like way more bullish on Vision AI than I am on like LLMs in general. It's so applicable. Like if you were gonna sit here and like build a business around it or something like that, like the Vision AI stuff is incredible. So they have a platform called Roboflow. Now there's open source models that you can use, and you can go through and do this, and that, but then you're sitting there like doing all this Python, hating your life. What they do is they set this up, right? So you can go in here and set up your training data, right? So you have like a picture of a kid. You can go like draw the bound around them, like you tell it. You train pre-train a couple images. You're like, this is a kid, right? It's like tight, okay. And then you have this, right, where they set up these workflows. So you can go in and you can say, like, you do an object detection model. So like generally speaking, you start fucking around with this, it's like object detection or image segmentation. You'll run one of those, and then you can do it. Like I sit there, and if it like sees something, you do like a crop, you send it out to OpenAI, or you could do like a visualization where it'll sit there and like it'll highlight like the detected character within there. And what a really cool thing that it does is not only can you deploy these workflows to be like accessed via the cloud, like it's just like out there, and you can just like rock with it. But they actually like set it up so you can just download it to like an edge device, like a Jetson, with no internet at all. And it'll just run it. It'll just run it right then and there. So you could absolutely take it with you. You could do the cloud hosted thing, whatever you want to do. It's really a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun with it. I had a thing that I wanted to do. So I have a bunch of little kids, dude, and also a pool. And that is, I mean, if you keep up with local news in the summer, that's a treacherous thing. So, one of my main goals is to keep that kid out of a pool without a swim vest on. So I said to myself, wouldn't it be cool if you could detect an unsupervised child? So I had to train on people, and then I had to train on specifically children, and then I had to sit there and say, if there's like a kid chilling and like an adult isn't there, like I don't know, for like a minute or so, I'm like, you got to do something about that. You got to do something. So like, dude, it goes, and it's me, dude, fucking chilling. Hey, what's up, kids? And that's like one easy thing to do, right? You could tell if there's a literal child. And so yeah, that comes out like in like next May. It's gonna be $1 billion. I'm kidding. So I like another thing I thought was really cool is I really like drones a lot. So I like to like send it up and go through my neighborhood and mess with people and everything. But it can like detect cars. Like, what? Are you kidding me? I ran some of my drone footage through this, and it sits there and it'll detect like in real time all this stuff. It's the coolest shit there is. Like, you can just send it up and have like your own like Call of Duty map, you know, like a little mini map, little dots everywhere, dude. I'd be unstoppable. But yeah, I like that stuff a lot. Oh, I have a fun little Vision AI demo too, because that stuff's really cool. But you don't even have to go that deep, right? You could do it right in the browser, right, with JavaScript, right? There's like a lot of hand tracking libraries. There's also MediaPipe from Google, which will sit here and I can see my hands, right? We got the volume on, so it knows my hands, all right? And then you can do crazy things. Like you could tell it, like if you make finger pistols. Can I get volume on this for a second? No? So then I started blasting. It was actually really funny because I wanted to, I recognized that it was like a little slick on the trigger. I probably could have tamped it down, but I wanted to make a Sig Sauer joke. Oh, fucking dickhead. So now you know the backstory on that. How does everybody in here feel about LLMs, about AI? Can I see a show of hands who likes them? Can I see a show of hands who's afraid of them? Yeah. I don't, what? I recently used that was on the screen? Yeah, eggplant is a firm contender. Yeah, so I historically have been pretty opposed. I don't like them. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing. Like YouTube Shorts, it's not good. It's not good. But it's not going anywhere. So I go and I ask it. I say, hey, AI, my dude, can you help me prototype this garden management system, outdoor garden management system? And it's like, yeah, check this out. And this doesn't work, right? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do my own PCV, okay. So I sit there and I ask it, and it generates this. I'm like, hey, I think you really got to be really clear and really get down to brass tacks with this thing. And I was like, so the proposed components that we're talking here, right? You need to sit here and I want you to generate an enclosure. Give me an enclosure size that these would fit into, and how you would arrange it. You go your deep research. You go look up the size of these components, put it together. Tell me what box I need to put it in. Because you have access to all that information. You know how big these things are. You know how they fit together. You know the tolerances, all that stuff. So it came up with this. And then I'm like, okay, so based on that, what does it look like? It looks significantly less slick. And I'll tell you what, the final version looks significantly less slick than that. But yeah, you ask it, I'm sitting here, I'm like, there should be an electronic ball valve connecting a 5/8-inch hose to springers mounted. So long story short, I order all this stuff. I get all the parts, I get it shipped there. The actual bill of materials that we're working with is a Raspberry Pi 5, a DHT11 temperature and humidity sensor, which sucks, 2 capacitive soil moisture sensors, some wire, USB-C buck converter. What that does is that'll take the solar power down to Raspberry Pi voltage. Tycon enclosure, which is sick. I recommend them heavily. I got an Arju cam. I had a different cam at first, but it wasn't as waterproof as necessarily advertised. This one's been holding up pretty good. This US solid ball valve is kind of the shit. It's a real deal. So that's how a lot of the watering takes place. It'll go and it'll open it and close it, but I have other backups for that. So we have relays. You need that to work with the higher voltage stuff. Rhenology monocrystalline panel. That's a solar panel. And I didn't know how cheap solar panels were. You just buy a solar panel and a car battery, and this is not super expensive stuff, and it's not difficult to do either. But I didn't want to be plugging things into outlets, and that's just me being an amateur at electronics and not wanting to electrocute myself or anybody else. A drip irrigation system so that we could water this when I'm away. It's being watered right now. Battery and cable glands. That's an interesting thing. Is it a lot of the hobby microcontroller work that you're doing, right? It's all very focused around indoors, and it has no exposure to the elements. So I spent a great deal of time researching, what is if I was an electrician, what would I, or an electrical engineer, what would I do to make sure that this is gonna survive the elements. And beyond that, like if you were to put this into like an actual product, like what are the regulations in place? Like what standards does this need to meet? And it told me happily. So you do things like cable glands, right? And things like that. And it keeps the water out of the box. And this thing has been working through a couple things. So I go and I set it up. My wife is like pissed out of her mind, losing her mind. She's like, when am I going to get my dining room table back? I'm out here, like at night, like after I cook dinner, I come out there, I'm going back in, I'm like, I was putting this together down in the coal mine. So I'm putting it together. It's fun. We're having fun. And I start putting it together, dude, and the shit kind of looks like it did, right, in the render. I was like, oh, okay, boy, I see you. All right, AI. So what do you see here? That's the Pi. That's a charge controller. That's kind of like the intermediary between the solar panel and the battery, and it kind of just modulates that whole thing. And then we have one relay. There are actually two relays. And then that's one of the soil, I cannot say that word today, soil moisture sensor breakout boards. That's what it looks like put together. So that was really fun to put together. Pretty clean wiring, if I do say so myself. and there it is, right there with my raised beds. It was actually really funny because when it was time to put it together, I didn't know what I was going to put it on. So I go down to Depot and I'm like, well, how are we going to do this? I'm like, this fence post looking kind of fire. Like, I don't know. You know what? Let's do it. Like, if you actually look, that's like a fence post with like decorative routing on it. I just screwed the panel in. I'm like, let's do this. A bunch of zip ties and shit. We get it. You can see down here, this is where the ball valve is, right? So you have a hose going in there, and then that goes out to the drip system that's inside of these. There's a little RG cam hanging out. Dude, I even put conduit in. I gave way too much of a shit. But I did it. And, it's sitting here, and it's drip watering and all that. I'm running into ocarinas here. So it was time to make it work. It was time to oddly enough, most people would probably test it on the Pi before putting the entire thing together and putting it in the middle of a garden. That's not me. I literally hooked all the electronics up, all the shit, and then I put it out there, and I'm like, all right, it's time to do some coding. But here's the issue. I got a bunch of kids. They're great. I just don't have a terrible amount of time. I got a wife, kids, all kinds of shit going on, work, full time. Where does man find the time to do these things, right? Because in a traditional scenario where we're working in our field, right, you kind of have to lock in, right? You get pissed off if somebody schedules a meeting. You're like, oh, you're fucking my contact stuff. I'm not locked in anymore, bro. I'm out of the zone. I'm not in flow state, bro. Right? You kind of have to sit there and with your mouth open, coding, right? And that's really hard to get into when you don't have much time. And I don't sleep that much, but you can steal from sleep, and that's what happens when you do that. So I'm going to tell you how to actually vibe code, because there's a lot of people who tell you they're like, oh, I'm going to use cursor rules and fucking get out of here with this MCP bullshit. No. I'm going to tell you how to actually vibe code, because I have a vested interest in actually vibe coding, because I don't have any time, and I'm lazy as hell, and I'm chilling, doing shit, so I want to know how to vibe code, right? So I'm going to tell you exactly the recipe to do this. So the first thing that I like to do is tailscale. Do you guys know what tailscale is? So you can set up a little network of your own shit, right? So I can sit here from my phone, and I can access my PC, my other Mac, my Jetson Nano, my Garden, my iPad. They all have interconnectivity with one another at any time. It's so sick, right? The idea here is that, if you're, the traditional work pattern that you've been working with is I'm going to go do this as a solid block of activity. And I think it's shifting to a place where you can operate in an asynchronous way, hopping in and out remotely while doing other things. And then this is one of the starting points of that. The second thing that I like is Termius. If anybody uses this, but it's a great terminal for your phone or your iPad. I think they use a desktop, but I just use a terminal for that. But if you're on your phone, right, you come here, you just SSH into whatever you want at any given time. And there's a third piece of this puzzle, and that is a CLI-based agent coding system. Like Cloud Code, like Open Code, like Codex, whatever you want to do. I'm not here to judge. People have preferences. But the fact of the matter is, I was able to sit there and take an SD card, put in some Wi-Fi settings, and SSH enablement on that Pi, SSH directly into it locally. First thing I do, set up Tailscale. Second thing I do, install Claude. From there, I'm not even having this generate code. I'm sitting here having this thing do DevOps work for me. I'm like, yo, can you like check these pins, make sure they're good for me? Okay, yeah. Can I get a diagnostic on the system? That'd be great. You know, when I do want to have it write code, I give it really, really well-defined shit to do. Like, you go and you make like a configuration where you know where all the pins, you put all the different electronic components in your system, right? You have all your preferences here. You feed this in as a configuration before ever even writing code. And then you say, hey, given that you know where all this stuff is, you know that you're currently operating on a Raspberry Pi, can you write me a service that runs in the background and collects these metrics for me? And also, you know, a couple conditions, if the soil is dry, if you could water it, that would be fantastic. And it'll do it. And, you know, you get that system going, and then you just set up a Grafana that runs locally on the device. And because you have Tailscale, you can check it from your phone, and I could see in my garden. I could see what's going on. I could travel to Montana, drink recklessly with my friends, and not worry about my garden. It's unbelievable. I ping it. I know when it's up. I know when it's down. It's gorgeous. You can just do things. That's it. That's the end of my talk. You can just do things.
Thank you.
Learn some Zelda shit, man.
Hey, incredibly well done.
Hey, sir.
Talk to me about hobby electronics. Is this your first serious hobby electronics project?
No, I built a robot crossbow.
A robot what?
A while back, yeah, a robot crossbow.
Oh, that checks out. Okay. Other question. You do a lot of music. You make a lot of music. Have you incorporated any of this AI hobby electronic? Tell us about what you're doing there.
So I do a lot in the space, right? So a lot. Well, at least the generative portion, right? Like previously, like you'd go like listen to old records to find samples, but now I can just go type in like, hey, make me something that sounds like 70s soul.
Where do you type that in? What system can produce that? Is that like 11 Labs? Where do you do that?
11 Labs does a really good job for like individual things. Like if you're like, I would like a breathy flute. 11 Labs does a great job with that.
How often do you need a breathy flute?
With regularity.
Yeah, okay.
You're making trap music in 2025.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, for other things, right, there's a couple of different things. And then there's also a ton of that stuff on Hugging Face so that you can do it generatively.
So for example, the finger guns, who made that sound effect? Where'd you get that one?
I Googled that shit.
Okay, perfect. All right, y'all give it up for Ken. Great job. That was fun.